Hi, I'm Paul Morin with the Energy Conservatory, and today we'll be demonstrating the FlowBlaster, which is an attachment for a Duct Blaster fan. So if you already have a Duct Blaster fan and a DG700 speed controller, you can just add on everything from here down is what's included in the FlowBlaster kit. And we've got the accessory case that comes with it too for carrying the FlowBlaster around. So we're measuring supply registers today. So we've set up the Duct Blaster fan to measure supplies. The kit does come with handles, so you'll need to attach the handles on your existing Duct Blaster fan, and then the handles can remain on. So the way we set this up is I put a flow ring on here first. We need to use either ring 2 or 3, and I used ring 3. I put ring 3 on. Set the fan on top of it, and then put the connector, just like you connect a flow ring on there. So that's all set up. Then we connected the battery-powered speed controller. And we connected that to the Duct Blaster fan with this coiled cord, and connected the coiled cord to the battery pack. And there's also a fan connect cable running from that same cord, and we plug that into the top of the DG700 like we do when we're using the cruise function of the gauge. The hose setup, input on channel A will go to the supply tap. There's a supply and a return tap. There's flow sensors inside the device with 2 flow sensors, one's for supply, one for return. The supply has the sensors pointing down towards the flow. The return, the flow will be the opposite direction. So the second flow sensor for return has holes pointed in the other direction. So we've got our supply hose, input on channel A, input on channel B goes to the Duct Blaster fan, like when you're doing a normal Duct Blaster fan connection. And because the flow sensor on the fan is inside the housing here, our Duct Blaster fan pressure needs to reference that space in between. So there's a tap right up here that's labeled supply reference. So we're measuring supplies, so we need that clear reference hose on here. So next we'll set up the DG700 gauge, so we'll turn it on. We will hit mode once. We're just going to put it in the pressure flow mode. We'll change the device to Duct Blaster B, and we'll configure it for ring 3. We've got ring 3 on, so we'll connect it. Set it up for ring 3, and then we'll push begin cruise. When we push begin cruise, it's set for cruising 50, and we'll need to change that by pushing cruise target. And we will go to -0. There's a 0 and a -0. And with -0, we're measuring supply. So when we put this over a supply register, this will add restriction to it, so it'll sense a positive pressure. When we have it set to negative, it will ramp up the fan until it gets up to 0 and then -0. If it goes past negative, then it will start to slow the fan down. So that's why there's a difference between -0 and +0. Is it tells the fan which side of 0 to speed up and which side to slow down. So we've got it set for -0. If you get confused about which way to set it one way. If the fan doesn't come on, you know you have it set wrong, and set it back the other way. So pretty simple. So now we're set. We'll make sure the fan controller is turned off. It'll click off, and we'll turn the power on. And then the strap we can use is either a belt or a shoulder strap. I prefer using it as a shoulder strap. Turn that on here, and then I'll go over and measure supply flow. Now when I'm ready to measure the flow, I'll hit start fan. Put it over the register. This is adjustable, so we can watch it ramp up here. Because we've got a 2-stage furnace and 30,000 BTUs is the low end. We're getting pretty low flows, and this device is really good for measuring low flows accurately. So we're getting about 21 CFM. So write that down. We can push stop fan and go to the next register. Oh, it's starting to snow out. You can tell we're in Minnesota. I'll put it over the next register and we'll click start fan. This one will ramp up. Got a little bit more speed out of this one. And we're at this one, I'm watching the pressure. We're down to 0 and we're at 50 CFM. Now push stop fan. And we'll move to the next one. It's kind of nice with using a device you're familiar with. You're familiar with the Duct Blaster fan and familiar with the gauge, so the learning curve is pretty slow, and you know it's reliable, dependable equipment. You know it's going to be accurate because it's coming from the Energy Conservatory. Now watch this one ramp up. Watch your channel A as it gets closer to 0. And this one we're at about 63 CFM. Push stop fan. And we'll take one more measurement here. Start fan. So you can see it doesn't take long to get, we've just taken 4 measurements. And it goes pretty quickly once you have it set up. So this one we're reading 54 CFM. Hit stop fan. And I'll turn the gauge off now. And if you're using it to measure sealing registers, you can turn the gauge around the other way so you can see it better. You can tilt it down so you can get a reading. You can hit start fan while it's down here, and then once it senses the pressure, it'll ramp up, display your measurement, and then you're ready to go to the next one. So that's it. That's our demonstration of the FlowBlaster attachment for the Duct Blaster fan.